Tell us something about the Indian Jewish community and their connections with India.
Well, the Jews of India do not form one homogeneous community, but comprise of five different groups, each with its own history and social composition. The Bnei Israeli community from Maharashtra, where my parents are coming from, their story, their history goes back to a seven refugee couple who were shipwrecked off the Konkan coast 2,200 years ago after migrating from Judea, where they were persecuted under the Greek rule. In India, they built their own community life according to the Jewish ritual, the practices, and placed themselves in a very remarkable way outside the caste system, the Indian caste system. With the modernization of India in the 18th century, they began to migrate to the big cities like to Mumbai, to Thane, to Pune, where we can still find a few people from the community lives there. And they integrated into the British colonial administration. Today, the Bnei Israel is the largest of the five Indian Jewish community. The second largest group is the Jews of Cochin. There are many evidence that shows that their history goes back to Kerala from the 5th century to the 15th century. Actually, some scholars believe that they arrived in this area in India during the time of King Solomon. But actually, there is not much evidence to support that early date. We have the third group, very famous one, the Baghdadi Jews. And although Baghdadi Jews visited India, Baghdadi trader visited India frequently during the medieval time, during the Abbasid Caliphate, they only settled in Mumbai in the late 18th century. And we have two small groups as well that are considered part of the Indian Jewish community, which is the Bnei Ephraim and the Bnei Menashe. The Bnei Menashe is called North Indian, Northeastern Jews, and the Bnei Ephraim called the Telugu Jews from the southern part of Andhra Pradesh. But the history actually, goes back. The relations are documented, links to Judaism, links these two communities to no more 70 years back. But when the state of Israel was founded in 1948, waves of Jews from these three major century-old Jewish community in India began to migrate to Israel and gradually forming a population of today of 80,000 Indian Jews. um, Only a few people know, about this particular community, but actually, the Bnei Israeli community, the community that I come from, has a very unique story that negates, I would say, the common perception of the community here in Israel, like a community of a very passive, a very quiet community. And if we look at it, if we take a in-depth look, we will reveal a very courageous community, very warrior community that was not willing to hand over its culture asset in the name of the prevailing melting pot policy of Israel at that time. And ultimately, I believe that this community will play a very strong role linking between these two friendly nations, India and Israel.
Wow, it's really a fascinating story. I'm tempted to visit Israel to do a documentary just on the Indian Jewish community. Really, something that Indians in general don't know about. So, thank you very much for sharing that story with us.